The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Eagles take down North Georgia by 31 points. And, Coach, I don't even really know where to start with this one. It was a blowout from the time that things started in the second half because you guys were able to shoot the ball very well. How do you explain what you saw from your team over the 40 minutes of play here today?
You know, I'm kind of like you, really. I can't I know there's been a tough stretch. We've talked about it, obviously, in our interviews. Playing a tough schedule, a very tough schedule. And I kept trying to preach to them that as we adjust through the loss of Mincey and trying to figure out how we can rotate players and what we need to do. And, you know, they never gave up on each other. And we got a long season ahead. We understand that. And this is only one game. But I just feel like that they were prepared for this. You know, we've actually had this happen to us on the other side where it's like, the other team's so hot, man. Can they not miss a shot, that kind of thing? And we were hot today. We hit a lot of shots that we haven't necessarily been hitting over the course of the game. But, you know, I think, or the course of those 4 games where we've lost. But, I mean, we haven't even shot above 40% from the field. And then today you come in at 53, whatever. But the problem is we are a good shooting team. We just, for whatever reason, the ball hasn't bounced our way. Today, the ball bounced our way. It didn't bounce North Georgia's way. I mean, they've been the dominant program in our region for the last 4 years, whatever, 4 or 5 years. I can't remember whenever we won it here in 16 or in 17, 18. But, you know, I'm glad that we were able to have this performance against a really quality opponent, ranked top 10 in the country, instead of someone that we're just supposed to beat.
When you look at this basketball game, first quarter, North Georgia goes 9 of 18 from the floor. From the second through fourth quarters, they go 13 of 47. Mm-hmm. That's 28%. You really hammered down defensively. But then one thing that we talked about is just consistency with your group. Yeah. Well, in the second half, it was consistent throughout, and it was consistent with a lot of different players getting involved. Why was your team able to excel in half number 2?
I think over the course of how we played in the first half, even though down there we were down 39-36, and it was almost identical to how things happened. We had a little bit of a lead. They went through their 1-3-1. We didn't can shots. We let them get loose. And next thing you know, we find ourselves down 1 going into the half. But they felt like that we had played much better here for whatever reason than down there and coming out in the second half. I mean, when you're a winning program and you lose as much as we've lost here lately, you know, you just got to dig deep. And I kept telling them, you got to make plays. And if we can make plays, you know, and I felt like that there was a different sense of like I saw something out of Braylon tonight. Obviously, I know you're going to interview Callie and Mac, and we decided to start Callie because she's been playing well. She's been practicing well. And, you know, she almost goes for a double-double in her starting debut, so to speak. And she's just a young kid, you know, and she steps in here against a really good team with good post play and plays as well as she did. And, of course, Mac, you know, I told him in the locker room, it was just a Jeff County thing today, I guess. Those 2 kids, the way they played and performed. So
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. There was a moment, and I forget the exact time window, but you tried to buy some time at the end of the first quarter with 3 freshmen on the floor, which Tori technically could be a freshman, so you could go 4, and a sophomore out there as well. You tried to buy some time, and then you let them go out there in the second quarter, and they go on a run. It felt like everybody in this game had a moment that you can think about of they had a block shot, they had a steal, they had a layup, they had a shot make. Why or how much confidence, I guess is the better way, does a matchup like this give you after everything that you've gone through the last 4 games to see not just Braylon carry you a 30-point game or Campbell do her thing, but everybody get involved?
Well, that's what you really want to see. I mean, again, I hate to hammer this home, but you know, if the score was 92-61 and we were playing a team that we're supposed to beat that much, like I don't know how much confidence you carry out of it. But when you're playing a team of that caliber, and obviously in order for the score to be that way, we have to play, I wouldn't say out of our minds, but we got to play really good. Now, we need minutes out of Emily and Keeley and the bench players that are the young ones, you know. And, you know, Callie stepped in as a starter today as a young player, and you got Tori, but we knew that team has got a lot of speed on it, that they could potentially press. I thought they did a good job. They're a really good defensive team when they're out there together. And we've tried to learn from our mistakes my mistakes of, hey, if they're doing well, just keep them in the game. And then when all of a sudden it seems like they're getting tired or they're losing momentum, then we'll sub them out. And that's the confidence we have to build. It's a young season. We're only in game 8. And it's going to take us – we're still learning each other and learning how we can play and where we can put people. And, you know, so I was proud of that group. I wanted to get them in again, to be honest with you. But I don't feel like when they went to the 1-3-1, we had to keep the right shooters on the floor and make sure that we didn't get down too much, because I typically don't burn timeouts, but I think I burned 2 in the first half just to try to keep them from going on a big run, which they're capable of doing.
You knew that you were going to right the ship at some point this season. It wasn't always going to be just a strict losing streak. You do it in emphatic fashion now, and now you go in with a clean slate into conference play against a Limestone team that lost by 11 to Emory and Henry today.
Yeah.
How do you want to see your team respond to a great win like this, having to go back on the road and start league play on Wednesday?
Again, how we've been shooting it prior to today's game, your confidence can take a hit, but gosh, we know it's there. It just hasn't panned out for us. And then, to be able to have this this game and this performance before conference play really starts for us at Limestone, it's a huge momentum thing. And I'm just hoping that my hope has always been that by the time we get to late January and February, that we can look back on this time and embrace the challenge and adversity that and I told them that embrace the losing, man. I mean, it reveals a lot of stuff, and then when you can come out and have a performance like you did today, I think it can only help our confidence and show that if you play well and you make the plays and you put the ball in the bucket, really we can play with anybody in the region, with Callie and Ruth and Harley. Harley didn't play any 5 tonight. It was all Callie and Ruth, and I thought they anchored it down very well.
Coach, really appreciate the time. Congrats on a big win.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Coach Mike Mincey.